afternoon and welcome to Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch, powered by Rajhi Bank, Malaysia. Tina Teng Markets Analyst, CMC Markets APAC and Canada, is our guest today, coming out of Auckland, New Zealand. Tina, welcome to the show.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, Tina, I'm going to get back to you after we take a look at how regional markets have performed and also crypto markets. We start with crypto markets. Bitcoin is at 30,427. It's up 2.38%. Ethereum is at 1,817.45. It's up 0.09%. Now, looking across to regional stock markets, SGX is up slightly 0.03%. Bursa Malaysia is down 0.43%. Shanghai is up 0.42%. The ASX All Ordinaries is up 0.88%. The Nikkei is up 1.19%. The Hang Seng is down 1%. And rounding up the numbers, we've got the Kospi, which is up 0.45%. Now, Tina, that's a very mixed bag. What's your view on this?
So overnight, the U.S. stock markets have rebounded very strongly. So I'm seeing the risk sentiment had been recovering since the sharp sell-off since April and May. So certainly the recession fears now are fading off. I think investors are seeing the peaking inflation, and also they have the bets on the Fed, who could be less aggressive on the rate hikes. I think that's just a bullish factor for the whole broad sentiment the markets have built. And also China is coming out of lockdowns, like Shanghai and Beijing, both gradually easing the health restrictions. So I think there's just a lot of optimism in the markets.
Okay, so optimism on the equity markets on one hand, and also in oil markets, as OPEC and its oil-producing allies agreed yesterday to hike output in July and August by a larger than expected amount. So that's good news for markets. And you've got some charts to show us, Tina, to explain the direction of oil prices.
Yes, I have my charts here. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, so what we see here, like the oil price actually is still very high. It's now it's at the level of the March high here. So yesterday it was falling. I think the traders say possible that there will be the output increase by OPEC. So they just took profit and had an early loss on the oil markets, but then it's have a very sharp bounce off the session lows and back to the high. But what I think right now, the output increase by OPEC probably will put a psychological cap on the oil markets. It's not necessarily that we have got enough supply and can solve this undersupply issue. As you know, the increase amount, as OPEC said, will be 648,000 barrels per day. But the Russians already cut 1 million barrels per day. So it's far away from enough the increase will be, and also there are doubts about the commitment of the output increase as well. But now we could see a pullback from the oil price here. If it can calm down, certainly there'll be like extra optimism to add to this stock or risk assets rally. So we could see it's will be a cap here. I mean, if it calm down to this long ascending line, if I add a trend line here, we can see probably will be still hold up around $110 per barrel, but certainly that be a short-term, a near-term bullish factor for the equity markets, but a bearish factor for the oil markets.
Okay, now speaking of equity markets, we've gone through oil markets. Then, what's your view on the US dollar and bond yields?
US dollar actually is still on this rise. It's the strong US bond yields. But we could see a pause for the time period. Just at the moment, we can see this risk sentiment has recovered, that pushed up the other currencies, especially like euro dollars now had a bullish breakout against the US dollar, and also commodity currencies now are going up as well. That's a pressure at the moment to the US dollar, but in a long run, US dollar is still strong. It's probably still keep going up after probably a short-term, near-term pulling back.
Okay, Tina, it's Friday today. What should we be looking out for in the week ahead?
So the week ahead, for the next week, there are some very important data and events. The first one is the US CPI data. US CPI data, that's inflation in US. If we see a peak the inflation or this consumer price comes down, there's certainly a bullish factor for the equity markets. And then the Reserve Bank of Australia will have the rate decision on Tuesday, and then the Europe Central Bank as well. So very important week. It's a lot of big decisions come out from the central banks.
Now, Tina, as always, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Brian.
We've been speaking to Tina Teng, Markets Analyst, CMC Markets Asia Pacific and Canada on Biztech's Asian Midday Market Watch, powered by Rajhi Bank Malaysia. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as Rajhi Bank's social media platforms. Please subscribe and like our various platforms. Thanks again for tuning in.